wanna stay. Singing to your bitch like I was Drake, yeah.
Don't just try to tell me you love me. Can't keep it real if you really don't trust me. Come with a real, you hip in the front, so you get my meals. I'm gunning for the money in the bank. Come with a dank, skrilling in the tank, rolling with the gang. You sitting out on the sideline tripping, I go to the hole with the rock like Pippin.
Yeah. I'm okay.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. If you're listening on an audio platform, leave a 5-star review. You know who he is. Speak Easy. I'm Spencer Raxter. We got Chris Platty, Chris22 back in the TD booth, and we got Broder on the ones and twos.
Let's go.
The man in the legend.
What happened to that boy?
A little Birdman.
Little Birdman action. We got a lot to talk about today, Obviously, the big news of the day is that the Red Wings traded for Alex Debrincat on a big, a nice little package. Didn't have to give up too much. Got rid of Kubalik. Got rid of a first round pick of their choosing, because they have 2 next year. So it could be either theirs or Boston's, whichever's worse. And then a 4th round pick. What?
Nah, nothing.
What?
It's gonna be ours.
You think?
How many people are Boston losing? Just Bert?
Bergeron. Probably gonna retire.
Ooh.
Boston's old, man. We'll see, but that's great news. We're going to get into that later. We got a bunch of guests for you guys. Jack Kelly's going to join the show. He's going to talk about NBA Summer League. He was down there. We're going to have Ryan Hana back on the show to break down his thoughts on the Debrincat trade. And we are going to have Easy's arch nemesis, John Kosko.
Just mine?
A PFF writer. He was the one that ranked the Bears secondary higher than the Lions. So we're gonna pick his brains and see what he had to think about that.
Yes.
But first things first.
Yes.
Alexander the Great.
Oh my gosh.
Alexander Volkanovski.
Ozzy.
Ozzy. Is he approaching GOAT status?
Oh, dude, yeah, 100%. I'm all right. I'll say this though. To be fair, like Gary Rodriguez, as dangerous as he was or is, like, I don't know, man. That featherweight division is just so weird. Like, it felt like he was kind of just tossed in there because it's the only name like relevant enough to throw in there. Obviously, he fought for the interim championship too, but nonetheless, though, styles make matchups. It's no excuse. I'll take that one back. Volkanovski is the GOAT. He's the GOAT of the featherweight division.
Really?
Oh, without a doubt. Listen,
really,
the only 2 other people in question of being the GOAT of the featherweight division is Max Holloway, who he beat 3 times.
Yeah.
In my opinion, 2-1, whatever. And then Jose Aldo, who he beat on his way to beat Max Holloway. But Aldo's actually
wasn't prime Aldo.
Aldo's only like 33 or something.
Yeah.
Like that. That's like fairly.
He's been in a lot of wars before that, though.
Yeah. Speaking of which, well, go ahead. What do you got in bulk? Is he the GOAT? You don't think
he's up there. He's up there. I think he still might need another defense or 2 to surpass
of the featherweight division.
Aldo.
Get out of here.
Aldo's got 9 title defenses, man.
Against who? Exactly.
Yeah. That's fair. Volk's up there. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, Volk's just a savage, bro. Because here's what it is too: is Max was the GOAT, and he beat the GOAT 3 times.
He beat the shit out of Max in
the last time. Yeah, that one was real bad. Were you talking about guys being in wars? Actually, did you watch UFC, brother?
The OC?
No, UFC.
Oh, I was like, how are you guys talking about the OC? No.
What is the OC?
You remember the OC, the old show? I forget what state. Was it MTV? Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about the OC. You got excited, too. Like, yeah, I remember. I love that show.
No, I didn't. I remember that show. I don't watch much UFC.
Yeah.
I know a little bit.
Do you watch more UFC or the OC?
I probably watched more of the OC in my life.
Oh, God.
But Josh Emmett's my boy. I like Josh Emmett.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Josh Emmett, too.
Yeah.
Another featherweight. All right, because I was going to go to this then. Because, Chris, you didn't watch either. You were up north.
Yeah, no, I had no service all weekend. It was crazy.
Being super racist to amateur wrestlers real nice.
Using his...
made the guy run away back into the room.
That was my dog. I chopped it up with him after. He ended up sitting behind us because we were right by the entrance.
It's just something wasn't even signed up the sheet.
And some of the wrestlers like sat behind us. And so I got to talk with him. He goes, did you say that I burned your crops? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I've never heard no shit like that before. He was a cool dude.
You would say some racist shit like that to me again. I'm playing. You should actually send that video to Slack.
Chris was using his Pride Plus membership to get an extra extra couple weeks out of Pride Month. Hey, yo! So he got his extra vacation because he's a Pride Plus subscriber.
It wasn't no Wisconsin vibes. No Wisconsin vibes. No brothers, no pickles. Just chilling.
Speaking of men bodying men, in wars.
Yeah.
I know Robert Whitaker lost to Duplessis.
Yes.
By the way, I was wrong on like every fight in the main card. I had every single one I was wrong on. I think I said the Yair too.
Yeah.
But
I said Volk.
I get Duplessis beat Rob, but same thing with Rob. Rob's been in fucking wars,
Yes.
bro. Like his chin, like his health bar for his chin is like
it starts off halfway.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, remember the fights with him? Like Yoel Romero was
Yes.
fucking just taking overhands.
Slugfest.
Yeah, dude. Like, so yes, kudos to Duplessis because Rob is obviously still very, 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 very great, but not the same Rob. Am I being a hater?
No, I don't think so.
I think I'm. Yeah,
It's not. Again, it's not prime Bobby Knuckles.
yeah. Who do you think?
He's gonna get worked by Izzy.
How cringe were you though?
That was pretty cringe.
Oh man, do you think Izzy was drunk?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Did you see the
36 and me, 26 and me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
it's like
you
23 and me.
23 and me. Did you see him and Kevin Gastelum?
How they
Izzy
kiss
and
each
Kevin
other.
Gastelum. Yeah, he kissed him like 6 times.
Yeah,
Yeah, you see.
wearing the pearls.
He's
too.
hammered. Yeah.
Speaking of, oh man, I should have sent this. Duplessis' coach after the fight kissed him on the lips.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Saw that.
Yeah, it happened twice.
Yeah.
I think it's out of the same camp too, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I gotta do the homework to be
My
sure.
South African brother.
Yeah, that was
cringe.
Dude, it's funny too. One of the reporters after the fight was trying to get to Dana like, how do you feel about the race tension about that whole
Yeah,
thing?
he's like, he's black.
Yeah, he's like,
He can do what he wants.
wait, who said the N-word? Is he? He's black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, that shit was funny to me. But anyway, yeah, UFC 290 was everything that it was hyped up to be. Do you think Moreno lost that? You think it was?
That was close.
I thought Moreno was gonna win.
Yeah.
I thought he won. But that was also kind of wasted.
Yeah, I mean, it's a split decision. You hate to see it, but it wasn't like he got robbed or anything. I could have seen it going either way.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a draw more than anything.
Yeah.
But again, I was kind of drinking, and I'm a little bit biased too. Like I like Moreno. I like
Yeah, me
Moreno
too.
a lot. But that's definitely gonna be a rematch too. Well,
Dude, that Volk, I saw like on MMA Twitter, like the day before they were doing like best combos.
yeah,
Like some of the best that combo Volk hit to end it.
Yeah.
Where he hit the knee, body shot, uppercut, takedown.
fucking
I was
awesome
like,
against
dude,
Saxon
that
Taylor.
was so nasty.
Bro.
And then he postures up on his feet and just raining down shots, man. That was nasty.
beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I love that sport.
That was a great fight. That was a great
fucking
great
great
card.
sport.
Very fun to watch.
If you guys don't watch UFC now,
You tripping.
tripping for real. It is like the ultimate form of competition in my mind. There's no referees to fuck anything up. There's no fucking
Yeah, dude, it's a gladiator fighting.
Yeah.
It's 2 men in a cage, locked in there, trying to kill each other. Like, it's just amazing.
You watch any sport, and they use terms like in the final round, they come back in the fight, like they use like fighting terms, because fighting is like fucking the ultimate, like fucking like, oh, I gotta fucking win, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh for sure. Gets gears turning, gets the blood pumping.
Ooh, pump it up.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Pump it. Ooh, sorry for not muting my phone. Larry Nassar.
Yeah, great day today.
Larry Nassar was stabbed in prison today. Shout out to whoever did that.
Yeah, shout out nameless prison inmate.
Yep.
Finish his job next time.
So, you know, honestly, they should put his commissary number out there.
Yeah.
But he's eating good.
Oh yeah,
For
for
life,
sure.
maybe. I'd throw 5.
I'd throw 5.
Yeah, he's deserving.
Yeah, I'd donate to him before I donate back to MSU.
For real.
I gave them enough money already.
They want you to donate.
They
back.
call me all the time.
They don't have access to see like what's paid and what's not. Like it's like
He's still
this guy's
owes.
this guy's still paid.
owes $20K.
The fuck?
No, they call me all the time. Hello, Spencer. This is Stephanie from the School of Com Art Sciences. I realized that you've graduated recently with a journalism degree. I just eat shit. I hang up.
This guy Spencer's big time because I don't get any calls. They know I don't got it.
Broke 5, bro. Yeah,
Got it.
That shit pisses me off.
Because they see you on the big screen, they're like, oh yeah, that guy's got it.
Yeah.
He's making the big money. Little do they know. I'm currently searching for the photo.
Little do they know, I'm broke as a joke. So you ain't getting no more money out of me, MSU. I'm not even paying you back those student loans. You feel me?
Chop Phil.
I'm about to
Softballs
just.
as always. How do you not?
I'm about to. If they start like asking for payments again, I'm probably gonna fake my death.
And then be on air every day.
Oh yeah, I'm Renser Paxter. Welcome to the news.
Chet Rexter.
Just shave my face and my head.
You wear a fake mustache over your beard.
Go blackface. change the whole persona.
I got no part of that one.
Sorry, brown face.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm catching up. Oh yeah, Tigers of the draft.
Yeah.
Brother, how do you feel about that whole situation? They drafted a high schooler.
Max Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah, the top high school prospect over a guy that was seen as like a top 3 talent.
Mm-hmm.
How are we feeling about that?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great. With high schools, and we saw they actually drafted, I think it was 4 out of their first 5 picks were from high school. So we sort of see the idea that Scott Harris has building this team brewing. We know it's going to be a couple years. That's sort of the writings on the wall. But this Max Clark guy, he might be from high school, but he's the real deal. I mean, he's one of the most legit high school prospects in the last, 10, 20 years.
Yeah, he's extremely fast. He hits everything. He's got a plus arm in the outfield. He'll probably end up being the center fielder when he comes up. Maybe push Riley to one of the corner outfielder spots. So it's awesome, man. I just, like you said, it's good to have a concrete idea of like, okay, they're drafting for the future. They're not drafting for right now. And, well, I mean, you can't say much about a high school prospect, but the kid looks great on paper. He hits everything. The power's not really there, but he's only 18, so it can come. But we'll see.
That's what she said.
We'll see what's going on there. But I don't mind it. I
No,
don't mind it.
He's great.
Couple
He's great.
of baseball minds that I've talked to all like it, so I feel better about it.
I sent you something in Slack, Chris, because I guess there's a Wyatt Langford or whatever.
Yeah, he was the outfielder from Florida that the Tigers passed up on that was drafted number 4 right after them.
How do you feel about that one?
He would have been great. I don't know why they decided to go high school versus college, but man, they went with it, and that's their strategy. And it's not like he's a much inferior player, Max Clark, to Wyatt Langford. It's just, what's your preference this year, college or high school?
Yeah.
How often are these high schooler guys like panning out?
It depends. I mean, the MLB draft there's a lot of swing and misses, no pun intended. Like there's a lot of guys that don't pan out, but then you get guys out of high school like Bryce Harper and stuff that they're saying like he's the next Bryce Harper, not like his skill set, but fast tracking to the majors. Like this guy, Bryce Harper, dropped out at 16, took his GED, and then got drafted. Like the guy was playing professional baseball at like 17 and a half. So like, I don't know if he's that good because that's a different type of talent, but it's all, it's kind of a shit show when you're looking at evaluating young talent in the MLB draft because you just don't know what they're going to turn out to. But I believe in the front office, and we'll see. This is obviously their first measuring stick is this draft, so we'll see how these guys turn out.
Chris, you got that picture?
Yes, I
Can you
do.
throw it up? I asked everybody was shocked by it, but even Clark was shocked. Like, this is his face after getting drafted by the Tigers. Even he was like, what the fuck? Even he didn't see that shit coming. So I guess I was just kind of curious about that, what kind of prospect Wyatt was.
And he's a Midwestern kid too, so he's jacked up to play for the Tigers. I mean, he knows the situation they're in, but I mean, he seems like a really good kid, and he's got all the skills.
And he's got 300,000 followers on Instagram.
He looks the part. I was gonna say that. Like, I remember when Bryce Harper was like coming out of high school. He was like just knocking like 300 yarders, and they're like, "This kid's the next big thing." But they end up being like the next big thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He's got that look to him though, that superstar feel. The tattoos,
Swagger.
the mullet. Yeah, he's got the swag. The nice gold watch on draft night.
Which is normally something I don't really care about, but he pairs it with like some elite skills, and specifically how he can hit the ball, just make contact and drive it to both sides of the field. Like, he's a very good hitter, just a pure hitter. Maybe not for power yet, but like he can hit the ball whether he's in high school, college, or the pros. He was going to start at center field at Vanderbilt. He signed to go to Vanderbilt, and he would start as a true freshman. So he's a real deal. Maybe it's an extra year that we have to wait for him than Wyatt Langford, but. Dude, it's great. And I like the idea of pushing Riley Green to a corner spot.
Yeah.
I like it too.
That's the timeline of this Tigers team anyway. Is anybody actually upset about that pick or no?
No.
It's just a surprise?
No, I don't think so. Some people are upset they passed on Langford, but I don't think anybody's mad that they took Max Clark.
Yeah.
The guy's going to be good. But we're definitely going to talk more about that. We're going to talk more about Alex Debrincat up next. But first, let me tell you guys about SMA, or the Sports Marketing Agency. The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. So if you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com and get the help you deserve.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. If you're listening on an audio platform, leave a 5-star review. We just did a little bit of intro. Shout out Larry Nasser getting stabbed in prison. Great day. Volk retaining his belt. Brandon Moreno losing his belt. The Tigers drafting a high schooler in Max Clark.
Real quick, Moreno, forgot to say, broke his wrist in the third round, second or third round, but still fighting like a fucking dog.
Savage.
Insane.
Savage.
Insane.
But now it's time to touch on the most important thing that happened over the weekend.
From Larry Nasser to what's not time to touch on.
Oh, shit.
Nice segue, Spin.
Now it's time to kick off our shoes and get into this one. The most important thing that happened over the weekend, Alex Debrincat. Alex Debrincat traded to the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings traded Dominic Kubalik, Donovan Savango, a conditional first-round pick, and a fourth-round pick to Kubalik. They signed him to a 4-year deal and gave him under $8 million, about 7.8 annually. This is just an all-out win for Steve Yzerman. You go out there, you get one of the best goal scorers in the league, a guy who has multiple 40-goal scoring seasons on his resume already, and you don't have to give up any of your main prospects. You don't have to get up a Mazer or a Lombardi or a Soderblom or any of those guys. All you have to do is give up an expiring contract in Kubalik, a defenseman that he'll be solid, but he's not going to be anything special, and 2 picks. It's just beautiful. It's literally beautiful. Steve Yzerman did it again. This move pushes the Red Wings into the playoffs easily.
Playoffs.
We've talked about line combinations, what's going on there. We're gonna get more into that when we talk about Ryan Hana, or when we talk with Ryan Hana. But this is just something that the city of Detroit desperately needed. You got a guy, a star, a goal scorer, a wizard, who wants to come play for Detroit, who is from the Metro Detroit area. And what do? You get the deal done, and in Stevie Y fashion, you fleece the Senators, and now you got Senators front office members stepping down as of today.
What?
Yeah, they're like, oh, fuck, what did I do? Like, post-nut clarity hit, realized they got fleeced, and now they're dropping like flies. So I just love it, man. I love seeing that Steve Yzerman went out there, he got his guy, he didn't let anybody make him do something that he didn't want to do. He gave up the pieces he wanted, signed him to the deal he wanted, and now the Red Wings have an elite goal scorer to put on that first line. So I just love it.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of fair too. Like, I know that Kubalik, Debrincat was like one time like 40-goal scorer, but like last year we're only like 27.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also looking at this weekend actually. Shout out to one of my best friends, Caitlin, for getting married this weekend. But
Shout out.
I was at her wedding. I was talking to my guy Luke. Luke's from Michigan, but he's played hockey so long he has like the Canadian accent.
Oh, yeah.
It trips me out every time I talk to this guy. But he's like, he wasn't so sold on the trade or like pressed for it to happen, just because I guess he has like a minus 31 or something like that as plus minus.
Yep.
And I know there's like questions about the size and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I still there's no negative in it. Like you got a guy who's an absolute sniper. You have guys who can set him up like Lucas Raymond. I think that's who's going to benefit the most. I know that you and Ryan were talking about
Dylan Larkin
the other day. I like when I watch hockey, I notice like Sider, like, his assist is just always fucking nasty. He's just always like aware of his surroundings. So like having a sniper for like that guy. Again, I've been watching hockey long enough to speak on Larkin and his skill set, but when I watch Raymond, I noticed that about him. So for him to have a sniper, I don't think there's any negative in it.
Yeah.
Although, weren't there some injuries and stuff like that in Ottawa? Like why?
Yeah, no, there were injuries. Some of their main guys were down, and they were not a great team. So when you put a guy on not a great team, he's not going to have a great plus-minus. That's just how it goes. And now when you put him on this team, and hopefully, the defense steps up, you got Husso in the back of the neck or in the net, and you've got constant pressure on the opposing team's goal, his plus-minus is going to look a lot better. Like, Ovechkin had minus 40 plus-minus in 50 goal seasons. Like, shit happens. And, yeah, he's not a 200
Were they winning seasons or losing seasons? Winning seasons.
Yeah, he's not a 200-foot player, but he is a gun for hire. He is a 40-goal scorer, and those guys don't just grow on trees in the NHL. So the Red Wings finally got their guy. We'll see what goes on. I'm not going to say this makes them a Stanley Cup contender or anything like that, but this definitely pushes them in the playoffs, possibly in the second round of the playoffs. So I'm excited to see what goes on, man.
Second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, this roster is really...
You don't think they need a taste before they go another round?
No. You've got guys in there that are battle-tested, that have made the playoffs and have gone into the playoffs before. So Sherratt, Perron, all these different guys that you got last year, and some of the guys you got this year that are pieces that fill out this roster very nicely. It wasn't just the addition of Debrincat. Obviously, that's the fucking cherry on top. But the other guys you got, it gives you just solid players in all different aspects. Better defensive, third and fourth liners, guys that can fill in on the power play too and be a sniper there. So I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see what this team does. But the hype is there. That's playing 1919, and it just happens again. Like Steve Eisman, bro. Fucking, I don't even know what Ottawa's area code is, or if they even fucking have area codes in Canada. They probably don't. It's probably just like dial 1-800-SYRUP, and then we'll direct you to whoever you want, buddy. But I just feel like the fucking Ottawians answer their phone. They're like, "Oh, bud, it's fucking Stevie Y, bud.
Oh, Stevie Y.
Stevie Y, bud. What do I got to do, huh? Oh, hey there, Stevie. Yeah. So he's the Ottawa. Oh, you wanted to bring it, eh? Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to give me a Johnny Burgers or that Mazer kid looks pretty good. Maybe Lombardi if it costs that much. No, none of those guys. All right, what about Lucas Raymond? What do I got to do to... no, not him neither. All right, Marco Kasper, he's in... No, not him. All right, Kubalik. All right, Kubalik's pretty good. Yeah, it's how long's he locked down? Oh, he's a free agent after next season. Oh, all right, well, give me your first-round pick. You're going to pick what first-round pick I get. Oh, okay, yeah, that works too. What about a second-rounder? A fourth? All right, a fourth works too. I know. It's nice doing business with you, Stevie. This fucking guy, man, I don't even know. He's like a wizard on the phone, man. Don't you know? It's scaring me.
Don't you know?
It's scaring me. But I just love it. I just love it, dude.
I think another thing too is like they signed him under the $8 million, like you said too. But they also saved that money from the situation with Dina too. Yeah. So it's really like a net, like what, $5 million? You know what I'm saying? Like they still got money to play with if something else happens throughout the season. So I'm happy. I'm excited to talk to Ryan Hana again today. If you guys remember from last week, we had him on. He was pumped to talk about this. Yes. I didn't reach out to Ryan this time. Ryan hit up the heavies. Maybe on the heavyweight. So I'm excited to see what these guys say. He's obviously pumped up about it. But next up, we got the one, the only, Jack Kelly, not fellow Aussie, we're not Aussies, but fellow Aussie to
oi.
You think we get him to say it?
I don't know, maybe.
I'm gonna throw it at him.
Aussie.
First question. Aussie.
Oi.
I'll see if I get him.
Dante Exum's making an NBA comeback.
Huh?
Dante Exum's making an NBA comeback.
All right,
yeah,
Chris.
I'm sure he is.
Can you mute this guy?
Is.
What the
he's on the Mavericks. They signed him. He was tearing it up, averaging shooting 45% from three in the G League.
That's how we feel about Dante Exum.
Big power moves.
But yeah, dude, I'm excited to see what the Red Wings do next year. I'm excited to see how they go out there and take care of teams because Debrincat is not a 200-foot player. No, he is not this imposing force that you'd be scared to play against, but he's a guy you got to look out for because he's a guy who puts the puck in the back of the net, and that's how you win games in the National Hockey League is by scoring more goals than the team you're playing against. So getting a 40-goal scorer, getting a guy who is top 5 in goals scored in the NFL or NHL in the past few years, like it's a plus.
It's a plus, mate. Well, I kind of want to go to break early, so we spend a little bit more time with that guy, Jack Kelly. We got coming up next, but I'll be talking about Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness. Summer is a great time to join Planet Fitness and beat low E. You know, you can find him in there, you can beat him. Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. The gym that has always been known for being clean is now cleaner than ever. You can get a full-body workout in 30 minutes of the 30-minute circuit. All memberships include fitness training. You get all this for $10 a month, or you can upgrade to the Black Card for $24.99 and get the use of all the amenities. Also, high school students ages of 14 to 19 can work out for free all summer long with the High School Summer Pass. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
What up, though? Welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, joined by guys Spin Mo Rex.
What up, though?
Young Chris, Big Broder on the ones and twos. Take this one over, Spin. I gotta send another leak to our guy Jack.
All right, yeah, we'll be having Jack Kelly on shortly to talk about the NBA Summer League and what the Pistons were doing there. And, some of the stuff was good. I liked what I saw from some of the Pistons. Obviously, Oscar Thompson was a big focal point for Pistons fans when they're watching those games, and I don't think he disappointed. He went out there and he did what he does. He was great in transition. He filled the stat sheet. He played some great defense, made some nice passes, was more of a playmaker than I expected. He was making some real nice passes out there, so we'll see what happens there. Jalen Duren went absolutely nuts in that second game, and that Pistons-Rockets rivalry is starting to get a little blood to it. The guys they're chirping each other. You know, Jabari Smith's telling Marvin Bagley, "You can't fucking guard me." Jalen Duren's calling Jabari Smith a bitch. Like, it's,
saw that?
Yeah, dude, it's
Bitch
I love
ass,
it, man.
he said bitch ass something.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. He said bitch ass Adesanya. Like, I love it. It's good to see, man. It's good to see. So I'm excited to see what happens throughout the season. I'm excited to see what happens when the Pistons, actually take the hardwood. But for the Summer League expectations, we have some more to talk about later. Like, you put it in the chat or in the prep. Are you buying into the James Wiseman Twin Tower hype? No, I'm not. James Wiseman can't guard a wet paper bag, so that's pretty bad. The offense looks kind of stagnant when they're out there on the floor together. Obviously, the spacing isn't there because you got two guys who can't really shoot the ball. So I don't know, man. This Twin Tower hype, it doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I agree, Spencer, and I think a lot of it too is like James Wiseman is looking good scoring the ball, and that's kind of been the one thing that he's proven he can do decently in the NBA so far. And in the Summer League in your fourth year, like, dude, you're like a super senior scoring on the freshmen, so I don't want to knock it entirely, but at the end it's good for his confidence. But where James Wiseman, the issue has always been why he couldn't get minutes in Golden State is because of the processing of the game, the instincts. All of that stuff has just been not there yet, and that's what he's got to get in reps through playing. But so far in Summer League, he hasn't been able to show that. And my biggest thing with Summer League is look like you don't belong in the Summer League. Look like you shouldn't be playing there.
Like Jabari Smith.
Yeah, like Jabari Smith. Offensively, James Wiseman's looked like that, but again, like you said, there's nothing to give fit to as far as him and Duren goes. There's nothing really to look at as of right now. He has to just be a much better player at processing the game.
Yeah, I was somewhat embarrassed for him when he got the tech, he got teed up for talking shit. It was like, 1 is the beginning of the game, 2, you're the old guy in Summer League. Although he's only 22.
Yeah.
In fairness, he's only 22, but 4th year in the league, and then 3, Jabari was doing whatever he wanted.
Yeah, he was
to whoever he wanted. It was. He finally looks the part. That kid's finally got his confidence. Although it's still only Summer League, but I have a feeling that kid's carrying that into the season. Because his aura is different.
We'll see when Jalen Green's on the court.
That's fair, but I'm just saying just his attitude in general. Like last year, he felt timid at moments. A
little tentative. Not wanting to shoot the ball as much.
This year, he feels like the kid that was picked to play, where he's going to play, who he's going to be. How do you think about Duren putting the ball on the floor?
I like it. I mean, if he's not going to be doing that in the season a whole lot, I wouldn't expect. But this is where you do stuff like that. This is where you experiment. This is where you work on your game. This is the Summer League. And his jump shot looked good. He was moving the ball. He pushed it in transition a couple times. So I like to see that. I like to see him, working on stuff like that in the Summer League. Although I don't think it's going to translate to him being a point center or anything. No. He's probably not going to be doing too much of that during the season. But do it during the Summer League, man. Have fun. Work on your game.
I think if it's indicative of anything, it's like that transition offense. We could see all these athletic freaks this season. I will say this, though. I don't want to be the negative Nancy, but 4 of those guys on the Detroit Pistons Summer League team are arguably going to be starters for the regular season team.
Yeah.
And your boy has been publicly saying they could be which is still low, but even as high as a 10 seed, I might have to back off that claim. Yeah.
So you don't believe in Kate Cunningham as much as the rest of us?
I believe in Kate Cunningham way more than all you guys. Just the other fellers, I'm not quite sure about it. And the other fellers isn't Asor Thompson. I loved what I saw at Asor.
Is it Jalen Duren?
No. You know who it is. Although he heated up after. He was kind of sloppy. Let's be real. The first game he was extremely sloppy.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about Jay Knight. But offensively, he's the microwave guy. You know what I'm saying? Once he gets going offensively, pushing the ball, being the guy, he's nice. But he's not. It's Summer League. I don't want to speak too much. Yeah. He doesn't look like a facilitator that I think a lot of people wanted him to be. But it's only Summer League.
Summer League, you shouldn't read too much into. The only things you should look at in Summer League is, again, do these players look like they don't belong? Because the NBA athlete is a whole nother level than what the Summer League is. And then on top of that, you gotta look at how many people on this Summer League roster are on your actual roster going into the season. And the higher the number, the higher the concern should be. And that just shows you where you're at in a developmental stage in your team's franchise. So, there is a lot of room to be nervous, but at the end of the day, these players are getting rep, and that's just what this team is. This team is a very, very young team that has not too many veterans around it, and its veteran players are not necessarily its biggest contributors.
Yeah,
this team is built around this season. It's going to be Monty Williams pushing Cade, pushing Ivy, pushing Duren to their limits, and Asar and them. It's going to be built around them rather than the veteran players that they have. Those are just the role players essentially. Yeah. So that's why they're in the Summer League, but it's something to be concerned about.
And when I observe Summer League ball too, you see if he's in there yet. But when I check it, I'm not necessarily looking at the end of the game numbers. I'm looking at some of the turnovers, the silly playmaking. I'm looking at your defensive effort, I guess more effort and attitude. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. With Jabari, I know he's not gonna be. Maybe I don't know. He was fucking on fire yesterday, but I doubt he's dropping 38 in the regular season. But just the attitude of him taking those shots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just shit like that.
Being more aggressive, being more deliberate in your moves, and polishing your game a little bit. And Ivy didn't look great, but I'm not overlooking what he did his rookie year based on 2 Summer League games.
Yeah. Well, we had a guy that was actually boots on the ground. One of my favorite follows of Pistons Twitter.
Great follow.
The one, the only, Jack Kelly. Jack!
What's up, guys?
What up, man? How's Vegas?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's hot. It's hot, and yeah, it's crazy to be here still. I've got another couple of days here, so yeah, man. I'm just having, to be honest, it's been really fun.
Can I throw the question we were gonna ask him?
Yeah.
Jack, this is important. You need to know like your response to this one specifically. Are you ready?
I know what's coming, I think.
Aussie!
Oi!
So, Jack, I want to get right down to it, and obviously we have a lot to talk about with the Pistons Summer League, but the crown jewel, the main piece that Pistons fans will be looking at in the Summer League is Oscar Thompson. So what did you take away from his first two games, his performances? Obviously, he looked very good in transition, but what are some of the details that you saw in his game?
I think his feel for the game was the thing that stood out the most for me. Both ends of the court. Like, on defense, in that first game, he was a little tentative offensively, but he made a ton of plays defensively. His rebounding stood out to me the most, particularly in that first game, which I think is going to be really important come regular season time. But just his feel for the game, like you touched on it, like the transition stuff, the passing. He's a lot of Pistons basketball in the past 5. Watching this team run a fast break has been pretty rough at times. So I think, I'm willing to go out on a limb and say he's already the best transition player in terms of the fast break. That's a skill that can be taken for granted if you don't watch a lot of basketball, but he does that really well. And defensively, against the Rockets, we saw Jabari Smith was cooking the Pistons.
Man.
But there was a play in the fourth quarter where Jabari tried to drive straight at Asar, and Asar just snatched it out of his hands and then was running down the court, making a play. So I think he's been as advertised. If you really dug into the film and had a look at Asar and did your work on the draft, he's been, I think you could expect through 2 games.
Yeah, there was even like plays in transition defense where he didn't necessarily come up with the steal, but he bothered the other team enough where like the ball was like knocked out of bounds, or they had the missed pass, or like. And I think like people they box score watch. Even though you watch these plays, I just don't get some of the takeaways from when people watch this stuff. But after seeing like his on the court prowess, like his feel for the game, do you feel like he could actually be a starter for the Pistons this upcoming season?
I think for sure. I think there's a case to be made for him coming off the best starting, but I feel like he fits with that starting group pretty nicely at the small forward position. There's still a lot. It feels a trade coming for Detroit still. I'm not going to get into names, but it feels like there is a trade coming. But yeah, I could see him starting. If Dwayne Casey was still the coach, I could definitely see Asar starting this season. Monty, we're still yet to see how he handles young talent and rookies. From some Suns people, he has empowered his rookies before, even on winning Suns team. So, yeah, I see him starting. I think he definitely would help defensively and physically alongside Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham.
And other than that, obviously we saw in the second game, Jabari Smith kind of went off. He didn't kind of went off. He totally went off. He torched the Pistons, and we had a question in our prep talking about, are you buying into the James Wiseman Twin Tower hype? So how would you say that those guys, being James Wiseman and Jalen Duren on the floor, kind of played against a athletic stretch big like Jabari Smith?
So I'm not a buyer of the Jalen Duren James Wiseman pairing. I think we see 2 big lineups come regular season time, but I think it's with Isaiah Stewart at the 4. And look, this bashing Wiseman, I think he's shown a lot. I think he can play the 4. Like, you saw and Jalen Duren, I don't think can play the 4 either. But you saw when Barry Smith he was really talking some smack, and he drained a 3 right in James Wiseman's grill. I think it was in the 3rd quarter, and James Wiseman he's a 7'1" center in my opinion, and can't defend at the point of attack, like at the top of the 3-point line. I think you're putting him on an island there. He's got to make 2 decisions. I think, I just think he's your first big off the bench. I mean, go for it. Try those 2 in the Summer League. That's what this is for. That's what this time is for. You shouldn't be taking away any major takeaways, or shouldn't be bummed out about anything you're seeing at Summer League. But, yeah, look, they've done some cool things. I think where fans get a little bit confused is you look at the box score, and James Wiseman and Draymond have 2 really good games. If you just look at the box score, like they've each put up double-doubles, scored 15-plus points in each game, I believe. They've looked really good. But when you actually watch it in person, I'm not sold on that, especially for a Pistons team that really needs to try. They've got to win 28 games or around there this and all. Yeah, I just don't think that's a lineup you want to run if you're trying to win games.
I agree.
Jack, would you mind holding with us through a break real quick?
Of course.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. I want to get back to Jack. I know Chris has questions. I know Broder has questions. But before we do that, I got to tell you guys about Swiss Insurance, because now that summer's here, it's time to make sure you are properly covered. Whether it's a grad party, a group of people over to enjoy the lake or pool, your liability exposure increases significantly in the summertime. Let Swiss Insurance Group review your coverage and make sure you are protected from unexpected loss. Check out Swiss Insurance at swissins.com or call Mark personally today at 248-800-4177. Again, that's 248-800-4177. This is Woodward Heavyweights. We'll be right back with Jack Kelly.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. Because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Your childhood may be over, but playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company is your source for outdoor power equipment, sales, service, and parts. Carrying top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Steel, and more. Servicing the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. For more information, visit us at OutdoorEquipCo.com. Outdoor Equipment Company, your power equipment playground.
What up, though? Welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodsportsCom. I'm Eazy. That's my guy, Spinball Rex.
What up, though?
Chris, Broder. We're also joined by the one, the only Jack Kelly from Pistons Twitter, who's in Vegas for the first time. Dude, I'm going back to ask you a question about the Pistons, man. But how's your experience? Your first time here in the States covering the Pistons live and in person?
It's been wild, man. It was, I tweeted it out. It was sort of like a bit of a dream come true, I guess. I sort of started this journey 2 years ago, just writing. So to be here 2 years later, I think the first I wrote was on Cade's first Summer League. To be here exactly 2 years later, behind the scenes, just with all the Pistons beat report, they were really cool and just showing me the ropes. Just seeing all these personalities you see on TV, it's being right next to them. It's pretty surreal. It's really cool.
Super proud of you, man. You deserve it, too.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. You deserve it for sure. And I saw Eazy commenting on your posts on Twitter and you about stuff. So how does Troy Weaver smell?
Yeah, that was a brief encounter. I was still a couple of meters from him. So I couldn't tell you. Man, I thought about stopping him, but I'm just like, he's just gonna be like this random Aussie guy. So I just let him be.
That's fair.
But back to the Pistons Summer League real quick. I wanted to ask about some of the – because I think the rookies came as advertised. You saw the attitude and effort out of Sore and Bo Sasser. How did you feel about the second-year guys? Obviously, we talked about Duran a little bit, but Jaden, I feel like his first outing out, and I don't want to go too hard or look into this too deep because it's Summer League, but like some issues there playmaking. I feel like Sore had opportunities to score, and he wasn't getting the ball to him. You make anything of that one, or just let it be, them get growing chemistry?
I would have been concerned with that if we didn't see Jaden come out and have the 10 assists. And he had like 3 or 4 assists to Asar alone. He dropped off a really assist in the second quarter to get him going after Asar and really rough. He was in that second quarter. So, yeah, in that first, I spoke about it in my post-game video a couple of days ago. In that first game, sorry. He looked like he was pressing. He's been working on his game for 3 months to come out and show that he's a second-year guy. He wanted to have that Jabari Smith performance where he drops 30 points. That's what it felt like. And he was just pressing, threw some lob passes down, which he normally doesn't do. I think he was just rusty. And he just had the blinkers on and didn't have his full court awareness at him. But the Pistons were a little bit disappointing overall, but Jaden was probably the best player on the team, and leaving that second game, you feel like pretty good about him as a second year. That kind of performance that's what you want to see.
First of all, I want to just congratulate you, Dante Exum, back in the NBA, signing with the Dallas Mavericks. A player I really did want to believe in a lot back in the day when he was a draft prospect. But with the Pistons, when you're looking at this team and you're kind of getting to see them a little bit more intimately than us just watching it through TV, are you getting to see kind of what these players are practicing and specific players? What do you see these players working on when they're not on the court, when they're not in the game?
To be honest, I haven't had the best access behind the scenes in terms of app practices. I've been trying my best to get in there, but sometimes Pistons PR are a bit hard to crack. But look, I think there's a good vibe about the team. I think there's a lot of players here. I mean, they've got 5 or 6 guys at least that in there. They'll be on the come opening night. I mean, I've seen there's a lot said about Jaden Ivey freezing out of side one, but I've seen those two behind the scene. I mean, there's a photo going around with Jaden with his round of Sar. I think really good guys. I mean, Troy Weaver, I think this gets thrown around a lot. Does draft high character, just being close with them post game. They're all very well spoken. They all get around each other. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of practice stuff, but I think they all have the vibe around the team. And I will say Asar Thompson in particular, he speaks very well. Speaks kind of softly, but he's very well spoken for a 20-year-old, and I think the fans are going to really like him the more they get to see him in post game and just more sort of the work he does. He's quite an impressive 20-year-old. I remember what I was doing when I was 20 years old. So he's pretty.
Speaking of working on their games from some of these like second-year guys, we saw a little bit of Point Duran out there. You know, he was running the court a little bit, making passes in transition, dribbling the ball outside of the block at the top of the key, different things like that. Do you like to see stuff like that from him? Because obviously, if he's going to work on something like that, the Summer League is the place to do it. But how did that actually look? Because it looked pretty smooth and fluid on TV, but obviously you were up close.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Like, I don't think it's something we'll see in his second season. Like, I just want to temper Pistons' expectations, but I thought it was really cool. And the fact he sort of struggled early on in that first game with it. Like, he had a couple of really awkward possessions, but he persevered, pushed through, and then in that third and fourth quarter, I think he hit back-to-back jumpers and got the crowd buzzing. So the fact he wants to work on his game. I mean, Jaden and I don't really have to be here considering how they played in their rookie season, but they've come here and Duran in particular, he things. He hit a corner three. I don't think it's it's really disrupted the flow of the game too much. So I think it's fine. It's cool to see, and it's exciting for fans. I think that's something you could definitely see in the next, I don't know, in maybe his third, fourth, fifth season. The job itself, I think it's pretty exciting.
All right, Jack, you ready for my Summer League overreaction?
Hit me.
All right, considering the fact that there was 4 possible Pistons starters on the floor in that game against the Rockets yesterday, I kind of want to back off my play-in seed for the Detroit Pistons. And not necessarily in a bad way. I'm just saying, like, a younger team that kind of needs to work out some kinks. I think Jaden needs to work out some of the processing and alongside Osor and guys like that. But, like, am I being too overreacting to that? Like, am I being too hostile with that, or no? Does it seem like that watching those guys yesterday, and considering, again, 4 of those guys might end up starting?
I think it's a great call. I'm aligned with that. If they make the play-in, in my opinion, that is, like, not best case scenario, but it's up there. Like, I really think. Look, I still think there's a trade to come. So, as of today, though, I think that 28 win total, that's what we're looking at, in my opinion, because Cade Cunningham, he missed his whole second season, essentially. Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren only going to their second season. Like, I think for Pistons fans on the whole, this is the first rebuild they've really had to go through, at least since, like, 2000, in the 2000s era. Like, so I think we're all still trying to learn and figure out, like, how long these things take. Like, I think when we drafted Cade Cunningham a few years ago, there was play-in talk then, and then we sort of realized, oh, hang on a minute. And 3 years removed from that, we see what Killian Hayes is, we see what Sadiq Bey is, we see what Isaiah Stewart is. Like, not all these guys are going to pan stuff. And we don't know what Ivy and Durant. We're confident, but we don't know. Mm-hmm. So I think temper your expectations. Like, as long as they're competitive on court and they win 27, 28 games, I think that should be sort of the bar. But that's just me.
And so, obviously, the Pistons, they don't play again until Wednesday. I forget who they play. I think the Raptors, on Wednesday. And who are you looking for, or specifically, what are you looking for out? Because personally, I want to see Osor take some more jump shots. I want to see him take some shots behind the three-point arc to see what he's working with there. But is there a specific thing that you're going to be looking for in the Pistons' next game against the Raptors?
Yeah, I think you hit it there with Asar. I'd like to see him take a few more, even if they're missing badly. Just get into a rhythm, take those jumpers. I think I would be surprised if Duren play. Ivy in particular, I think his Summer League could be done. But with that, I'd like to see Marcus Sasser get some more opportunities. He had a solid first game, but he was pretty quiet in the second game. And I feel like he's sort of struggled to possessions because so much of the ball's been in Wiseman, Duren, and Ivy's hands. So Marcus Sasser, I was really high on him. So I'd like to see him have a game where he gets up 12, 13, 15 shots, because I think he's a guy who can have a couple of 20-point outings here in the next couple of games. Another really interesting guy that Pistons fans should keep their eyes on is Malcolm Cazalon. I think I pronounced that correctly. He's the French two-way prospect. He showed a lot in that first game, especially defensively. I posted some clips if you want to go check it out on my Twitter. Look, he's a project, but he's a 6'6" sort of wing who could, if he figures out his three-point jumper to get to an average level, he could be someone that contributes next season. So those are probably the guys to keep your eyes out for. And James White, I'd really like to see him play the next 2 games. I think he needs the reps. So yeah, those are the names.
Yeah, man. Marcus Sasser, I'm pumped on him. He feels like the character and the attitude. That's like a much needed ingredient to like almost any successful team in the NBA. I'm excited for that guy. Both those guys come as advertised. But Jack, before we let you go, man, where can people catch up with you and your coverage of the Detroit Pistons and more?
So Jack _Kelly _2 on Twitter. Still doing stuff for Detroit Bad Boys. I will be doing work with the NBL next season, so keep your eyes peeled for some Aussie hoops. We've got a ton of draft prospects for the next upcoming draft playing in the NBL, so I'll be pumping out some content there. So, yeah.
Jack, man, I appreciate taking the time.
Appreciate you, bro.
Gonna reach out again sometime soon. Maybe do something in Studio B. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Enjoy
Appreciate
the
you
rest
guys.
of
Thank
your
you so
rest of your
much.
time in Vegas, and don't get caught up too late out there, man. I know it can get pretty wild.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you much. See you later.
See you, man.
Dude. Jack's the man.
I love Jack.
Jack's the man. Great break. Like we said, he fantastic follow on Twitter. You guys should all go follow him on Twitter right now. The way he breaks down the games, different plays, it's always great content. So make sure you support that guy. He's the man. But let me tell you guys about Lady Jane's, because you can walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, 1 for you and 1 for your wife, girlfriend, or best bud. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
What up, though? Welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodwardSports.com. I'm your boy Eazy. That's my guy, Spin More Rex.
What up, though?
Young Chris, Broder on the 1s and 2s. If you guys haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button.
Chris 22.
Chris 22. 5-star using all podcast platforms. That's Parker. It's Parker 22.
We ain't doing all that. Yeah. Parker 22 for sure.
Yeah,
Chris 11. Chris 11.
Boy.
2 1s. 2 1s makes all right, Chris. We're happy for you.
Pride Month Plus.
He started it. I definitely want to get Jack on again too. I apologize for the technical difficulties and like some of the sound quality there too. So I'm definitely planning to get Jack on at some point. Some better quality.
Oh yeah.
Audio issues, audio situations. But you guys want to do the Twin Tower stuff? You want to talk about the Cooper Kupp?
I want to talk about this Cooper Kupp shit because I didn't see this. I don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't see this?
No.
Oh man, I would have threw the graphic in. I don't even know what the publication was, but they put out a little feeler, a little trade scenario for the Detroit Lions and LA Rams, because obviously the LA Rams are paying a bunch of guys a bunch of money, and if their season doesn't start too hot, that's why that tweet probably followed by Fox Sports last week with Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
This one was about Cooper Kupp and a possible pairing of him, the Detroit Lions, for I think it was a first rounder and 2/3. No. Off the rip, I'm no.
Why? Because he's white?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why would we be out there trading? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey.
No, what it's for, honestly, he plays the same position as Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like a lot of people had that take when it comes to DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins play a little bit of X. You know what I'm saying? And I get that he likes the ball a lot too, but with Cooper Kupp, he's literally Amon-Ra St. Brown is literally Cooper Kupp light.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're the same position, like they would fit the same scheme. Like it just wouldn't make sense. On top of the fact, I haven't looked at his contract. It's an immediate no for me. And if there's anything that this team doesn't need, it's offense. If they're gonna make a trade for a splash player to help relieve the Rams of cap space, it's Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Like this is a topic stemming from like last week, but I just felt so dismissive of it. I didn't even want to put it into the prep. I want to talk about bringing a defensive piece to a position of need in the interior defensive line. Although Aaron Donald a little bit of a pipe dream in that situation, and I'm sure this one is too. Again, I don't even know what publication posted this. I'll send you at Chris while you're talking, but you thought about it. You paused for a minute. You sound like you like the idea.
I mean, I don't hate it, but for first and a couple seconds, that's a lot. Cooper Kupp,
first and 2/3, I think.
Cooper Kupp is on contract until 2026 would be his last year. His cap hit next year in 2023 will be $17 million. His cap hit in 2024 is $29 million. His cap hit in 2025 is $29 million, and then in 2026 it would be $27 million. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say no on this, man. It's like you said. I don't. If they're gonna make a trade, and make a move for a guy that they want to bring in here and put him over the hump, it should be on the defensive side of the ball. It should be on that defensive line. It should be hopefully an interior defensive lineman, because that is the one position of need really for this team. And I think not having Jameson Williams for 6 weeks isn't enough of a panic mode to where you go out and trade for Cooper Kupp, give up future assets, bring in that kind of huge contract. I'm good on that. I'm good on the Cupster.
Yeah, it was 2024 first round pick, and then 2024 third round, 2025 third round. Which, mind you, 2024 we actually have 2 third round picks because of the Vikings trade. But yeah, I'm good on that one. We have the Woodward Sports beat reporter for the Detroit Lions in the building, my guy Broder.
Easy, what up?
How are you feeling about that trade scenario, Cooper Kupp to the Detroit Lions?
Better now that I'm unmuted. You know, I like the fit, actually, of Cooper Kupp in Detroit, even when Jameson Williams comes back. But that price is a little too steep.
It's a lot of money. Especially
when you can go out and either sign a free agent without having to give up draft capital, which is so prized for Brad Holmes, or you go for if you're trying to go that route of a Cooper Kupp-like player, you could get Hunter Renfrow from the Raiders for much cheaper. So, man, I love Kupp. I love what he could bring to this team, regardless of what type of receiver he is in Ben Johnson's offense. He'd be ridiculous, but it's just too much. I don't want to give up a first and a couple thirds.
Yeah. I mean, let alone, like again, the assets is one thing. I don't even know what you would do with him and Amon-Ra on the same team. Like, I'm sure you would be putting in work.
Yeah.
But with Amon-Ra being what he is already, which is arguably a top 10 wide receiver, do you really need to make the investment of a first round, 2 third round picks, plus the cap space is going to take up to bring in a Cooper Kupp?
No.
When you're getting that production out of Amon-Ra St. Brown on a rookie deal right now. Like, you look at a top 5 offense last year. I get that, and I'm making the argument that some people had for the DeAndre Hopkins thing. But again, I see Hopkins, even when he gets picked up somewhere else, as like an X.
Yes.
A guy that can be multifaceted in an offense.
Yes.
You can put him anywhere. Where Cooper Kupp is literally just a whiter version of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe a little bit better. And him and Stafford have that chemistry, too. I just don't see the Rams even moving on from him.
The Rams I don't know what's going on with the Rams, man. I guess they were aggressively trying to trade Stafford in the offseason.
Wow.
Couldn't find a partner with him. Now they've got talks about if the season goes bad, starts poorly, they could shop Aaron Donald. Like, they got the Super Bowl and now they're ready to bounce, I guess.
I mean, bro, they got some commitments on cash. That's for damn sure. I had a little bit light on it, but here is the screenshot I saw that was floating around on Twitter, and Braylon was buying into this a little bit too. And I don't know if Braylon. Did anybody catch the bottom line today, or Ermanni the final word? Because I don't know if he spoke on it, but I saw him tweet on Twitter that he heard some rumblings. I don't know if he's referring to the same article, but I hope not. But this is the article says there's a bit of power void in the NFC. The Philadelphia Eagles and San Francisco 49ers are the odds-on favorites to repeat the conference in the Super Bowl. The Cowboys aren't that far behind, but the pecking order gets a little murky after that. And that's the reason for bringing Cooper Kupp to the Detroit Lions. But again, I don't see it as a fit.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp is tremendous talent.
And Matt Stafford isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you see, his contract breakdown?
No.
Next year, he's making $20 million.
Yeah.
So that's good. With a dead cap hit of $111.5 million.
Oi.
And in 2024, he's making $49.5 million.
Yeah.
With a dead cap hit of $91.5 million. No. And then in 2025, he's making $50.5 million. And in 2026, he's making $49.5 million. Good for you, Matt Stafford. Jesus Christ, man. That is insane. But, yeah, they're not trading that contract. And they're definitely not cutting him. Because literally if they cut him this year, they owe him $111 million in dead cap.
That's disgusting.
Nobody's trading for that. They're not cutting him. Matt Stafford is going to retire at Ram.
Yeah. They're probably going to try to force him into retirement. Give him a couple more.
Stretch it.
Yeah. Gotta do something. That's a lot of cheese.
Dude, that's what I looked at the fucking dead cap hit.
Because I'm assuming
2023, his dead cap hit would be $111.5 million.
I'm assuming like the way they're trying to work things out too is like, because there's no way they're taking on the dead cap by itself. Like, it's probably a situation where they're trying to get whatever trade partner to take on some of it too, and they're just like, nah.
Yeah.
Especially not having seen him back since the elbow injury.
Nobody's trading for him. You'd have to. do what you did with Jared Goff. You'd have to give up a first-round pick with Stafford to get that off the books.
With all this coming out, on top of like them just trying to trade Stafford in the offseason, the Cooper Kupp stuff, the Aaron Donald stuff, top of them having like 30-something rookies.
Top of the morning.
I'm going to go ahead and side with you on them probably finishing third in this division.
Thank you.
It feels like they're not all in. They're not committed to like winning this season. It's just with what I'm hearing.
Big trouble in Little LA.
Yeah, because even if you can say you're committed, but if things are leaking out that you're willing to jump off the board at some point, how are you as a player or anybody else in an organization
buying in?
Yeah, buying into like you're going all in. Like you're half-assed in.
Don't forget,
you're calling around trying to trade half these guys.
What's his name? Rusty, their safety. He's gonna be an all-star.
Rusty?
Yeah.
Rusty
His
Nail?
name.
He's a beast, dude. I don't know why you're sleeping on him. He's part of the Super Bowl winning team. You got to stop disrespecting Rusty Nail. He out here, dog.
I want to know how many snaps he played that year. Probably like 4. What was his name?
I mean, I guess
Russ Yeast. How can I forget?
Russ Yeast?
Russ Yeast.
Give me one second. I gotta get John a new link real quick.
But yeah, the Rams are just not. They're not doing anything this year. Nobody's gonna trade for Stafford. They're going down history with that. But
this is what happens when you give away your whole team. You give away all your assets, all your valuable pieces to go after that Super Bowl, which they won.
They won. It's worth it.
Now they're just trying to recoup it all with whatever they can.
Yeah, it's worth it. They won a Super Bowl.
It is worth it. Anyone's gonna talk now look at them. They won a fucking Super Bowl.
They won a Super Bowl.
Like,
it is 100% worth it.
I can't stand those type of people who are trying to disrespect Sean McVay, trying to disrespect what the Rams did. They won a fucking Super Bowl. This is coming from like a fan base that hasn't seen a playoff win in 30 plus years now, going on 30 something years.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have no room to fucking talk down.
Yeah. Look at the Rams now.
Yeah.
Well, they won a Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Even when the people tried to shut on the last season, like every single like key piece of that team got hurt.
Yeah.
Matthews, everyone outside of Jalen Ramsey, Stafford, Donald, Kupp.
Mm-hmm.
There's no shit to be had there. The Detroit Lions got extremely lucky with that whole situation.
Yeah, they did.
And I think part of it too is like I look at I think that the Chiefs can start off hot this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they will. The Chiefs are very good. Patrick Mahomes is him. But like going on that many long like playoff runs, like into like this is football. Like year after year. Yeah, those are elongated seasons.
It's like LeBron.
Yeah.
Like going to the finals 7 years, 8 years in a row.
It's fucking insane that he's in a whole other specimen. Like it's insane that he's just now kind of experiencing like these injuries. And granted, somebody comes along with the age, but like at some point though, that shit's gonna wear on you. The Rams have been on that tear since Goff's sophomore season when Sean McVay took over. Again, to the people who want to disrespect Sean McVay as a coach, he is him. But it feels like they want to pull the plug on this thing.
They're pulling the plug. They're blowing it up.
Yeah, I'm backing off everything. I just want Aaron Donald out of the situation.
I would love to just get the scraps of Aaron Donald.
Some of the people brought up the fact that he's when we put up our Aaron Donald clip last week with the Dose of Dion in the comment section, some people were hating on the fact that he's possibly considered retiring this past year. He's 32 years old. Is that something you still want to invest in?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Like, brother.
Yeah.
Even if I'm getting 1 year of it. Does that change your bidding price, though?
Yeah, for sure.
Like what?
I don't know. You do something. I saw someone in the comments say like you do it like the how the Jets traded for Aaron Rodgers. Like the price goes up based on how many years he plays. So if you get like 2 years out of him, then you get an extra pick or something like that. So I'd like to see something like that. But yeah, no, I'm still looking to trade for Aaron Donald.
I 100% would. I got to get our guy John Kosko into the stream. He's having issues with his as well.
For everybody that's saying no, but you expect the Lions to win a playoff game and you expect them to be Super Bowl contenders, but you're saying you don't want Aaron Donald, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you don't want the best defensive player in football over the past 10 years because he's too old, but this is your window with Jared Goff, and this is the team.
Yeah.
But let's not add that kind of caliber of player to this team.
That's the stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Especially when you know.
That's what you do. That's how you do things to get to the Super Bowl. The Eagles did it last year, and they got to the Super Bowl. If it wasn't for a slippery field, they would have won the Super Bowl.
Well, I got to tell you guys about Randy Wise because I want to get to our guy John Kosko writer of PFF. The guy came out with the secondary article a couple weeks ago that we were reacting to. But before I do that, guys, I got to tell you about the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. You want to go off the likes of Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. You want to go off the likes of Braylon Edwards, who holds damn near every single receiving record at the University of Michigan, the blue chip university in the state of Michigan. Some might say, Broder would say.
Go Blue.
Go Green. You all you have to do is join the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour by stepping into any Randy Wise Automotive Team location. Also, stay tuned for more information on how you possibly is joining. This is Woodward Heavyweights. We'll be right back with John Kosko.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
What up, though? Welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, my guy spinning more racks.
What up, though?
Young Chris in the TD booth. Broder on the ones and twos. Be reporter for the Detroit Lions. Thank you for joining and helping us out today, Broder.
Good man, Broder.
Oh yeah, I love hanging with you guys.
Hit the like button if you guys haven't already. We have a member of PFF, my guy, John Kosko, joining the show. I appreciate you for taking the time, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, fellas. How you guys doing?
Doing very good. Doing very good. Appreciate you for joining us. So, we got to get right down to it.
You're just jumping in.
We're just jumping in.
You jumping right in.
We're jumping right into the nasty. Jumping right into it. So, you did a ranking of the secondaries in the NFL, and you had the Lions under one of their division rivals in the Chicago Bears. And obviously we know all of the moves the Lions made to improve that secondary. Obviously we still need to see it on the field if those improvements are there. But I'd just like to hear straight from your mouth what was going into your ranking of the Lions in that secondary list.
Yeah, when you bring a bunch of new guys together, I think it's going to be difficult from the get-go. You have to get down to the communication. Obviously they have to learn each other's tendencies. The defensive coordinator is going to have to figure out, hey, how did these guys fit together well? There's just been a ton of overhaul in that secondary, and I think I think they're going to end up maybe being better at the end of the year than what I have them ranked at 22nd, because I do like the collection of talent that they have. You have a safety and rookie Brian Branch who might not start the beginning of the year, but I think will develop into the starter for the team, and I think. They have a potential to be, top half of the league type of secondary. But when you bring together, like, none of these guys have started together with each other. Tracy Walker's obviously returning. Kirby Joseph there, but like it's a Cam Sutton, Emmanuel Moses. These guys are coming from different locations, and it's just difficult to say, hey, these guys are going to be excellent together right off the bat. There's going to be some growing pains that come together with this group.
For sure.
So it's more based off, like, I guess, going into the season versus like your into season predictions.
Yeah, I mean, because it's hard to project that, right? Like, I don't think you can. You never can, especially with defense and also with coverage, right? So like one of the most unstable metrics that we have is our coverage grades, and we're working to obviously try to improve upon that, and we have a processes that are in place to do that. But really, it's it's highly dependent on can you make plays at the catch point and limit the number of mistakes that you make on the back end, because I like I said, I like the collection of talent that they brought in, but we have to see it on the field with this group, because it's a bunch of new guys playing together. And talk about from what they did at the second half of last year, we saw how bad it was for the Lions in the first half of the season, and then the second half of the season they improved significantly. but they still made an overhaul in their secondary, and for good reason, because you can't really rely year to year on that group to to continue to play well, or even just above what they were playing. So I think I like the moves that they've made, and it's something that will over the course of the season they might just skyrocket up these rankings. And I with the collection of talent they have, like I said, I think they will. But this is basically kind of like to look at the start of the year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there will be some growing pains, but I think with the talent back there, those guys are going to figure it out eventually. And if they do, start to skyrocket up your rankings, if they do start moving up that board, who do you think would be the biggest influence of that? Who do you think would be the guy that's making the biggest impact? Would it be a Kirby Joseph, a Cam Sutton, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? Who do you think would need to be that Pro Bowl, All-Pro type player for them to shoot up the rankings?
I don't think they need to have one single guy stand out for them. I think it's not having a weak link. So like when it's difficult to throw on any one of your guys that you have in the secondary, you have no weak links to pick apart. I think you look at teams across the league, the issue for teams that, even like the Jets last year, yeah, they had Sauce Gardner that came to them, and it obviously massively boosted them up in the rankings, and that's a rookie playing at the highest level you can possibly play right out of the gates.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really predict that, right, for anybody. But for the Lions, maybe that's Brian Branch, right? Maybe he comes in there and just is the next Troy Polamalu, like that type of style of player, and that really transforms the secondary. But you're not going to get that from Emmanuel Mosley or Cam Sutton or Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. None of those guys have already been established in the league as solid players that really don't have like you can't really pick on them. I think you've seen some issues with Emmanuel Mosley, but I think on the whole he's a solid player. Cam Sutton's a solid player. These guys don't have these weak links or like these they're not like liabilities in the secondary. So if they prove to continue to be that in a new environment, then I think you have really good chance to move up those rankings, because it's not one single player that's just playing out of their minds. It's the whole collection is not making mistakes.
I also want to ask too, because you cover more of like nationally. We're kind of like strictly here in Detroit, and obviously we're football fans, so we watch other guys. But you're part of PFF. You guys are the nerds that break everything down. What are the questions surrounding Emmanuel Mosley? Is it just health issues, or is he able to perform on the field to what we expect him to?
He can perform on the field. So he's a guy that will. I'd say his run defense is a weak point for him. From a grade standpoint, last year is a 58.6. Coverage-wise, he was a 73.5. He's a guy that can be prone to get beat deep at times, but I think on the whole, he's going to be a consistent guy for you. And I think he can be. He's not going to be like a lockdown number one type guy, but I think in a zone corner, he's in San Francisco he played a ton of cover 4 there, cover 3. And he played that deep cap there, and he played it pretty well. But like, he does have a tendency to maybe bust on some of those double moves and get beat deep. I think that's a tendency for a lot of cornerbacks, in the NFL. But I think he's a guy that will be ultra consistent for you guys. He might get beat on the occasion, but really he's going to be a guy that's not too, he's not gonna like be a coverage liability, break down like busts and stuff like that. So. I think he'll be, he's just going to be a solid player for you.
And then I've come on to this show. I've been I've taken some criticisms, but I have a strong feeling that Kirby Joseph can be a star in this league, at least for the Detroit Lions. He's only his second year playing the safety position last year when he, I think, tied the for rookies for turnovers. Am I being a slappy here? Am I being a slappy for my hometown Lions, or is there something there from you too, from being able to actually grade these guys unbiased?
So grade-wise, last year he was a 64.0 overall. His run defense was 58, coverage 65. So none of it was like, this great, right? And I think he started off the season really strong. One of the actually, he didn't start until week 4, and then he really kind of came out of the gates pretty strong. And then I think hit maybe a rookie wall. And then from like weeks 10 to 17, he didn't grade above a 64 in a single game. In coverage. So he went through a tough rookie spell. I did like him, from his college tape coming out of Illinois. I liked what I saw from him. I thought he was a good value pick in the third round at pick 97. But he's a guy I think can, be turned into a good player in the NFL for sure. I think last year didn't really, as a rookie, I think he played decently well. He had good spurts and then had some, rookie mistakes. I think his senior year in college at Illinois, maybe it was his redshirt junior year, he graded at a 90.6 in coverage. And I think when you look at that, that's a guy that, hey, I think he's a guy that can develop in the NFL for sure. And I like what he can bring to the table for the team.
And so I like asking this to all of our guests, especially those not, focused on the Metro Detroit area, because Lions fans, us as a whole, we have a lot of hype coming into this season, with Brad Holmes, with Dan Campbell, with the pieces that they brought on offense and defense. We think things are different. My expectations personally is to win the NFC North and to win a playoff game. What is your idea of how that NFC North landscape is going to shake out this year? And do you think those are realistic expectations from Lions fans?
I really do think it is, because I think they built a strong team. And I think, you look at, I think Goff is a solid starting quarterback. When you have the pieces around him, you saw what he was able to do in LA. He was able to take a team to the Super Bowl and be a winning quarterback for the Rams. I think for McVay, he got impatient with maybe he wasn't developing it at his pace that he wanted him to. And maybe he tried to expand too much with him, and he couldn't really go beyond a certain level in his playbook. But I think if you keep him in that play action type game, have some defined reads for him, keep him clean in the pocket, he's a solid quarterback that can win you games. And then you talk about having, I love Jahmyr Gibbs as a running back. I think he's going to be a dynamic weapon for them. Amon-Ra St. Brown is an excellent wide receiver. If Jameson Williams can be on the field and not have any sort of issues, obviously he'll be suspended for the first 6 games of the year. I loved him. I thought he was wide receiver number 1 for me in that draft coming out. I think he can develop there. You have one of the best offensive lines in football, and with this defense, we know that they have a good pass rush. Aiden Hutchinson's going to be a stud. He was as a rookie. Obviously, he was overshadowed from a rookie of the year type season because of what Sauce Gardner was able to do for the Jets. But I think if they can build on that back end and that back end comes together, this is a team that can really compete for the NFC North title. And we have no idea what Jordan Love's going to be for the Packers. The Vikings last year I thought were massive overachievers in terms of the level of play that they had on the field versus their win total. I think they overexceeded their win total by a lot. And I think the Lions have a legitimate shot to win the NFC North this year.
Hell yeah. Love to hear it. And John,
favorites for sure.
I appreciate you joining us. And before we do let you go, I just got one quick question. I saw the Jayhawks sign in the back there, and yes. I am a Michigan State alumni myself, and my most hated player of all time throughout any sport is Hunter Dickinson. He's transferring to you guys. What are you expecting out of him, and what do you think Bill Self's going to do with those guys next year?
So I haven't watched too much basketball, right? So I played football. I played football for KU. So I legitimately don't turn on basketball until it's March and KU is in the Final Four. So I have no idea. That's my expectation for the Jayhawks every year, is that they're gonna play in the Final Four, and if they're not, I'm not watching basketball. So I don't even know. That's how much I like basketball.
I got one for you then before you go. Are you buying into the Bears hype like a lot of national media? I'm not so much sold on Justin Fields as a complete thrower and the entire team, to be honest with you. Am I being a hater? They're our division rival here, and they're my all-time hated team. Are you buying into the Bears hype? Is that stuff real?
I'm not. I'm not. I need to see Justin Fields deliver on the field before I'm buying into any sort of hype of his, because yeah, sure, he's a great runner. Like, we saw that last year. I think he was the highest graded runner we had at the quarterback position, but he was also grading in the 50s as a passer. And when it really comes down to the NFL game, you've got to be able to pass the ball. And if your quarterback is having those types of issues where he's turning the ball over, he's not accurate with it, they average the fewest attempts per game of any team in the NFL.
That's terrible.
It's not good, right? He's got to develop as a passer, and sure, the talent, they're bringing in and stuff like that. Sure, there's there's good pieces there and stuff like that. But I mean, he's not an accurate quarterback as it is right now, which is mainly because he struggles to read defenses and know what's being thrown at him. So I'm not buying it until we see him actually starting to shred defenses with his arm. Maybe he can be like a Lamar Jackson, type guy where his legs are so deadly that it opens up windows. But yet we have yet to see it. I know he was a flash in the pan at the end of last year and started racking up runs, but he's got to be able to do it with his arm.
John, man, I appreciate you joining us. I hope we keep in touch throughout the football season. I'd love to have you back on again. You're very, very knowledgeable on the sport. You want to give a shout out to where you cover the sport and where people can catch out your work?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm at pff.com. For Pro Football Focus, I write a number of articles there, and then I'm doing data collection and film analysis for them. So yeah, check me out at obviously on Twitter at John Kosko 3 or at pff.com.
Thank you so much, John. Appreciate you, man.
All right, thanks, fellas.
Who's your favorite team to do those film studies on?
So I'm a Browns fan. So that's
we share pain.
Yes, we share pain, exactly. We understand.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you so much.
All
man.
right, thanks, guys. Take care.
You too, brother.
Too.
That's dope.
That
I'm
dope.
looking forward to talking to John throughout the season too.
For
But
sure.
Join us in the Dispo family live at the Hazel Park location on July 14th for the Monty Edwards and Maz show in the Woodward Heavyweights from 2 to 7 p.m. Come prepared as Dispo Dispensary takes your cannabis experience to new heights. Located at 634 West 9 Mile Road, Hazel Park, Michigan. See you guys there for Monty Edwards and Maz and the Woodward Heavyweights at Dispo Dispensary, your local cannabis plug.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. If you're listening on audio platform, leave a 5-star review. He is Speak Easy. I'm Spencer Exter. We got Chris22 in the TD booth and our boy Broder on the ones and twos. We just got done having a good conversation with John Kosko of PFF. Shout out to him, and shout out to Jack Kelly for joining us earlier. Up next, after the next break, Ryan Hana of the Winged Wheel podcast will join us to break down all of the Debrincat news, all of the juicy little details, everything you sick sons of bitches want is going to happen. I'm excited. I'm excited to get into that because I'm really excited for this team.
How'd you feel about John's comments on the Detroit Pistons, Detroit Lions secondary? I mean, he actually has a good point.
Yeah, man, he makes a good point. It's the same thing he said with Justin Fields, really. Like, we need to see it on the field first.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of moving parts. It's not easy to have 3 new starters in a secondary a year and give a decent grade for it. If you're looking at it on paper, you're looking at all the players. Like you said, they're all good players, but you need to see them meld together before you can accurately rank them.
Yeah, I feel bad that I double booked the guy today, but the Debrincat news is breaking. We had to do it, but like I really wanted, because I had that like concern at some point. I don't know if it was whether we were at Dispo or where we were, but like actually maybe it was last week. I started thinking about like, damn, like who's the guy we put on Justin Jefferson? Yeah. Who's the guy you put on DJ Moore? And I don't think the Lions have that answer yet. I'm hopeful that Jerry Jacobs could be that, but without further ado, I would like to introduce Ryan Hana joining us to break down the Debrincat trade. Shout out.
Oh, man.
Ryan Hana of Winged Wheel Podcast. How you been, man?
It's good, guys. I feel like it's silly for me to ask. We just talked, 5 minutes ago, and then the Debrincat trade dropped?
Yeah. Honestly,
doing good.
couldn't be better timing. So
a lot of build up for it. Just like, come on, I'm just waiting for it to just happen.
A lot of build up. It feels like the Parise and Suter all over again, but now it actually happens. So I just want to hear
throwback.
Yeah, you remember that offseason though? They're getting Parise, they're getting Suter. It's like, no, they're both going to the Wild. It's like, there it is. But I just want to hear your initial reactions to this, because obviously Stevie got his guy. He got him for less years and less money than most people expected, and he didn't have to give up a top-tier prospect to do it.
Yeah, so first off, the reaction on getting Alex Debrincat, no matter which way you cut it, this is going to make the Red Wings better. You could be the biggest Red Wings pessimist in the world, and you can't deny that getting a guy who has scored 40 goals or at a 40-goal pace multiple times in his young career, that's exactly what the Red Wings needed. The Red Wings would have been fine getting a 25-30 goal scorer, but to get the most premier goal-scoring player available in the trade market, even in free agency, he was better than anyone out there. That doesn't happen for Hockeytown, not in this generation. The last time the Red Wings got a big-name player like this who wanted to come to Detroit and actually landed in Detroit, you have to go back to Marian Hossa in 2008, in my opinion. And it just hasn't happened since. So this is the turning of a chapter, not to be too dramatic, but for the rebuild. And, fans have every reason to be excited. And then once you get into the details, like you mentioned there, like the trade value that Detroit got, they did not overspend at all. It was a very reasonable trade. I would call it really favorable for Detroit. I think they won that trade. And the contract is outstanding. We'll get into it in a minute, but this is the best case scenario for the Red Wings. And you honestly could not, if you wrote this before it happened, people would have called you crazy on Twitter for saying you're just you're being an Eisman fanboy.
Yeah, honestly, it's amazing to see, and that, like we said, you didn't have to give up Mazur or even Lombardi or any of those guys. Yeah. It makes me so happy.
There's truly no negative for like getting a guy like this, but I do have a question on like the fit, and just because I was talking to Spinny about it earlier, and one of my buddies over the weekend was telling me like last year his plus minus was like minus 31. He's a smaller guy. Obviously, Ottawa wasn't great last year. Like, is there any overhype coming along with Debrincat, or you think he's gonna be everything we're expecting him to be on this team, and they're going to the playoffs or something?
There's always a risk of overhyping a guy, especially for a team that's been starving. Like, you could be, starving and any food will look good to you, and you run the risk of that if you're a Red Wings fan right now. But Debrincat is one of the most premier goal scorers in the NHL over the last 3 or 4 years. He's up there among the best in terms of his actual goal output. I think what you can do is temper your expectations. I don't know that he's going to be 40 goals in his first season with the Red Wings. Their supporting cast is good, not great, and will that fit be there right away? That might take time to develop. You mentioned his plus minus. I don't really love that stat to indicate how well a player is doing, because a bad team will drag everyone's plus minus down. Is he a outstanding defensive player? No. But the Red Wings have a lot of outstanding defensive players. They hardly have any goal scorers, if at all. So for me, any drawbacks on the defensive end of the puck are wildly outweighed by what he brings offensively. And he's not just a goal scorer. He's really, really good with the puck, too. He's smart with the puck on his stick. He's actually kind of underrated as a playmaker in my mind. And so he's a facilitator of offense in more than one way. So I don't think he's just he's a dynamic player offensively is what I'm trying to say, which will help the Dylan Larkins, which will help the Lucas Raymonds, not just because he'll be setting up the puck to them or finishing their passes, but because he's going to draw pressure away from them and allow them to breathe a little bit on the ice.
Great point.
And I've seen a lot of line combinations getting thrown out there. What's going on? How they're going to fit? Where they're going to fit? Where? I'm not going to ask you to break down the whole roster, but how do you think that top 6 is going to shake down those first 2 lines?
There's never really a guarantee in terms of how the line combinations are going to shake out. We all are thinking, is this going to be Debrincat, Larkin, Raymond? That's what my opinion would be, is that we'll see some kind of version of that. But you also have David Perron there, who's a very capable player, especially off the wall in the power play. But, even in the lineup, he produces at a really good rate. I think Kubalik is a guy who fit into Detroit's middle 6 who's now gone. So in the top 6, you'll see some version of, Debrincat, Larkin, Raymond, and then I would guess JT Compher, but it could be Andrew Kopp. It's a toss-up. They could throw Berggren up there. I would guess that he slots in lower down the lineup, probably Fabry and Rasmussen. You'll see a mix and match there. So depending on who makes the team out of camp, it's going to be an uphill battle for the Kaspers, the Mazurs, the Soderblums. But let's say Kasper steals a spot, then you might see a Veleno or a Kopp or a Compher swing to the wing. But no matter what, you're going to see Larkin, Raymond, Debrincat, Perron, and then one of Kopp or Comfer in that top 6.
I saw a lot of people putting in there. Obviously, they're reacting and doing a lot of stuff fast, but putting Rasmussen as the 4C, and I was just like, no. He's so good on the wing, and he's so much better than a fourth line player. Like, you can't do that to him.
No, I agree. And the Red Wings have center depth now. Like, they have Kopp, they have Comfer, they have Veleno, and they have Casper waiting in the wings. Are any of those guys like outstanding number 2 centers in the NHL? No, but they're sufficient. Between Kopp and Comfer, you can get away with one of them as your second line center, and Veleno as your 4C. That's great. I agree. Move Rasmussen to the wing. That's where he excels, and that's where he makes the biggest impact for Detroit.
Now, I don't know if you guys have any betting sponsors or not, but if you were a betting man, do you now put the Detroit Red Wings as favorites to make the playoffs? Let's kind of look at the Vegas Knights and how they went about this season. It felt like more of a team wins, and they were dominating guys. Like, I don't think anybody at night scored any more goals than the top guy in the Red Wings this year. But anyway, does that still make the Detroit Red Wings a playoff team?
If I'm a betting man, no. I don't put my money in that direction. If you like long odds, though, it's not crazy. I don't think this is like a no chance in hell situation. Not at all. The Red Wings could very well be in the mix, but a lot of things have to go their way. They have to stay healthy, which is hard to do. They have to get outstanding goaltending like they got for good chunks of last season, especially at the beginning. But for most of the year, they have to have all their new additions really work out for them in a big way, which includes Debrincat, which includes Daniel Sprong, which includes Gostisbehere, all providing offense. And they have to have the kind of improvement that you need to see from Lucas Raymond, and you hopefully see also from Jonathan Berggren. All those things are possible. I don't want to say any are unlikely or it's stupid to think that improvement can come, but all of those things happening at the same time at the same season, to me, it's a little bit of a longer shot. So I don't want to count them out. I think you wouldn't be insane to say they could be a low to mid 90 point team, but that is it's a hard guarantee. It's hard to guarantee that team is going to make the playoffs. So there's certainly a chance. I think this team has every right to say they can be competitive throughout March and even early April and make noise for that playoff spot. And I certainly think it's possible, but we're still going into this year without Bertuzzi or Vrana. And before we knew they would be missing all of last season, those guys could have added up to, 70 goals, and that wouldn't have been crazy to say. So
What is that jump for Lucas Raymond for you? I know we talked a little bit about last time you were on too, but like, what are you expecting to see? What do we need to see from him for you to feel comfortable that he made that leap?
Well, let's look at the counting stats, and that's not the only thing. But last year he put up 17 goals, 28 assists, and that's a drop in both goals and assists from his previous season. I think he could easily be a 60 to 70 point player consistently in this league, and that's probably like a baseline in terms of the kind of game he plays in his skill. He needs to work on his strength again. He did that before he came to the NHL, and it paid dividends in his shot. I think you need to see that. Teams are playing him hard. They see a guy who's not the biggest guy in the world, and they're going to just grind him all year, especially if you're one of Detroit's most talented players, which Lucas Raymond is. So he has to get stronger. He has to get stronger on his stick, and he has to find the open space and not be afraid to use his shot either. He's too talented of a shooter to be, not leaning on it more often. I think he could have easily been a 25-goal guy last year, but the shooting luck, I'll call it, but the finishing just wasn't there like we saw the previous season. We're not talking like a massive difference. A drop from 57 points to 45. It's not unheard of for sophomore players, especially now that teams have your tape on you and they know how to game plan against you. But he has to kind of adjust to the way the game is played physically, and that's not to say like he has to go out there and punch guys in the nose. It's just that he has to be stronger on his skates, stronger on his stick, be able to generate that space for himself and really lean on that shot, which a little bit more muscle behind that, and that thing is lethal.
Yeah, and speaking of, like, we were talking about a little bit about line combinations and different things like that, but now when you add in Debrincat on that power play, you got a couple guys on the power play that can really help out now in free agency and trades. What do you think Alex Tanguay goes with that first power play unit? Do you think it's as simple as just putting Debrincat in there for Kubalik and having him run with, Perron, Larkin, Raymond, and then Sider or whoever you have back there?
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the go-to. I actually, last night on last night's Wing Wheel podcast episode, I said it might be Shane Gostisbehere as the number one power play quarterback, but Brad Crisco, one of my co-hosts, made a good point. Because of handedness and Mo Sider's right-handed, it might be advantageous to have him there, but Debrincat's going to be your first power play guy. Dylan Larkin is just too valuable, especially in the high-danger areas, to ever move him off the first power play, at least as we see it now. And, Perron on that half wall on the left side, unless someone beats him out of that spot, he's just lethal from there. Like, he is so good at protecting the puck, and the way he dishes it out is really underrated across the league, actually. So I would say that's probably what you'll see. I think a good version of Lucas Raymond next season sees him staple to that first line power play. If he can do it, but he's going to have to beat someone out potentially. But, the Red Wings now have a little bit more talent where you add in the Daniel Sprong types and, between Mo Seider and Shane Gostisbehere, you can have a good power play quarterback on either unit, that the second power play is no longer a write-off, which is good for the likes of anyone who's being pushed to the second power play unit, which might be Lucas Raymond.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are going to be pumped up. Because I'm hearing the 40-goal score out of Debrincat and just, him slapping him in. But I didn't think about, the pressure he's going to take off of guys like Raymond, and for him to develop or be nasty, be what he was his rookie year at least, or better.
Mm-hmm.
That's lit. I'm pumped.
That's pretty hype. I'm excited.
Well, Ryan, man, I appreciate you joining us. Anything you want to shout before we let you get going?
Yeah, I should do the usual Winged Wheel podcast. We dropped an episode last night. The news actually dropped as we were recording, so we had to ditch the whole episode and re-record it. But wingedwheelpodcast.com, at Winged Wheel Pod on Twitter, at Winged Wheel Podcast on Threads, Instagram, everywhere else. Find the show wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube as well. So appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a blast coming on Woodward Sports. You guys do a great job here. So looking forward to doing it again soon.
Yeah, definitely,
Thank you,
man. Appreciate you for joining us. It's always a pleasure.
Cheers.
Real quick, final grade for the trade.
Trade A, signing A+. Can't give
it.
anything less.
Especially with the money you're saving on Zadina now, too.
Yeah.
That's, dude. Stevie Y.
Stevie Y doing his thing. Ryan, appreciate you so much, man. We're definitely going to have you back
Thanks,
on
boys.
soon. Let me tell you guys about Guardian Alarm, because Guardian offers you customized solutions from real experts. Their professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. They also have 24/7 professional monitoring. You can call them anytime, day or night, and know a Guardian Alarm team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. And of course, they have technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. So call them at 1-800
Stay Out.
That's 1-800
Stay Out.
And let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Play, practice, and party at 5 Iron Golf coming this July to Detroit, located inside the Cambria Hotel. Downtown's newest sports bar has 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and a full bar and restaurant. Mention promo code Woodward at checkout for 50% off your first visit, and visit 5irongolf.com to tee up good times. That's 5irongolf.com.
Tell your friends, tell your dad, tell your mom.
See everybody hit that like button just now? Shout out to you guys. No, but Debrincat in the presser, wearing the Pistons hat.
Oh, yeah.
Teal guy, too.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Michigan guy.
27?
Yeah.
He's our age.
Mm-hmm.
He'll catch a couple beers with him. I'm sure we'll see him down here in Birmingham one of these days.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the most frequented Red Wing players I see down in Birmingham. I'm sorry, athlete.
Red Wings players?
Yeah. I remember...
I'd say, or Tigers.
Bertuzzi, Tigers, too, you're right. Bertuzzi used to, walk his dog, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smoking Jays. I'm just kidding. I lied about that part. Wouldn't be surprised though.
Would not be surprised.
Were you hurt by that, by the way?
The Bertuzzi trade?
Not the trade, but him signing with.
Oh no.
No.
Signed a 1-year deal.
Yeah. No one's just buying in on. Is it because of the COVID stuff or what?
No, it's just. I mean, I think he's
good. I think he's good.
He's
right?
good, yeah, but it's the same kind of thing as Debrincat. Like he's not a 200-foot player. He doesn't really play much defense. And yeah, he had a great year last year, but that's when he's setting up Pasta and he's setting up Marchand. So anybody can look good when you're playing on a line with 2 40-goal scorers. So
what a name!
It's
Pasta.
David Pasternak.
But shit, he's only 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on with Bertuzzi, but it's he could be long playing it because he knows the NHL cap is about to hike up a little bit. So guys who are expecting $8-9 million deals could be looking at $10-11 million deals in the next couple of years. So we'll see, but no, it's
is one of the reasons they trade him that they couldn't come to agreement on the
they
price?
They weren't going to pay him $9 million a year.
Yeah,
and so
would he sign for 5 or something?
Yeah.
It is what it is, my boy.
It is
what it is, my boy. Real quick, because I know we talked to Jack. We asked his takeaways from the Vegas games, and obviously he was there in person. Are you with me on the Pistons missing the play-in now after witnessing that?
I mean, I still think they can get there, man. It's I'm not overreacting from the Rockets or from the Pistons playing in Summer League. We still didn't see them with Cade Cunningham on the court. That is the 2 biggest factors of the Pistons having success next year are Cade Cunningham and Monty Williams, and neither of them were a part of these games. So I'm not going to be like, oh, no, season's over. They can't do it. After seeing them play without their best player, their head coach, and all the supporting cast players that are going to be getting serious minutes that will affect games. Like Isaiah Livers, like Beef Stew, like Bojan Bogdanovic if he's still on the team. This isn't a complete product. This is guys going out there working on their game. I'm not worried about it.
Chris?
Yeah, for me, I just look at 5. 5 keeps sticking out as a number to me because to be in the play-in, you got to be better than 5 teams. So I'm looking at the East standings right now, and the teams I'm circling for the Pistons to somewhat realistically pass are the Hornets. I think that's a given. The Wizards, I think that's a given. But then you look at teams like the Nets. The Raptors, if they decide to blow it up, there's a lot of talk after losing Van Fleet. There's even talks of trading Pascal Siakam. Pacers, I think Pacers are going to be good. But Pascal...
Pacers are calling on Pascal.
So are the Hawks. Yeah. The Hawks are, I think, where the most traction is right now.
That'd be nasty.
Orlando, I think the Pistons are in the same tier. Could go either way. Those 2 teams, who's better than the other? Chicago, do they blow it up? So it really all comes down to that bottom of the East and how those other teams play out. But I think that if I had to bet right now off the roster, again, Jack thinks there's a trade coming. I think that's a possibility. Right now, I'm saying no on the play-in tournament. I don't think they'll get there, but they definitely can.
What's your win total?
My win total?
Yeah.
I'd go 30. I think they can definitely improve by a lot. I think Monty Williams is a great coach, and I think that this team was not a 17-win team. I think they were actively tanking. Were they a 35-win team last year? No. But they weren't a 17-win team. So I think you got to look at it from a different evaluate it from a different level, and that 13 wins isn't as strong of a jump as people would think.
How you think Orlando's ahead of us, out of the Detroit Pistons right now?
Yeah, as of right now, I think they can get better. I think the Pistons at the end of the season they could finish, but as of right now, Orlando, I mean, but like I don't know, like you bring Cade into the mix, you bring Monty into the mix, that gives you arguably the best player and the better head coach. So
Anthony Black looked real good.
Anthony Black looked good.
Debut. Like there was a point where
who else looked good in
he
Summer
had
League?
matched up with Jalen Duren. Well,
Anthony Bennett.
I'm not talking about. Did he?
Yeah.
Did he really?
He was in Summer League.
Yeah. Anthony Bennett? Not this year.
Not this year.
No.
I was gonna say.
No, but there's moments where, like, again,
Pangus.
I'm not looking for like box score numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, like when people say so and so did good, you look at the end of the score numbers.
Yeah,
I'm looking at like
his feel
actual
and
play.
how he's playing.
Yeah, there's a point where he locked up with Duren in the paint.
Yeah,
held his own. I was so embarrassed. I was like, what the fuck? But again, I just didn't see him as a
I think
good
everybody
kid.
is overreacting a lot from the Summer League, and it happens. Yeah. You look at Pistons Twitter, and it's like, oh, we're never trade everything. It's not gonna happen. It's over. Summer League, we lost. Like, get over it, guys. It's fucking Summer League. Like, it doesn't spell the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm not so much. I don't think I'm overreacting, man, because I'm not looking at the box scores. Because if some people are going off the numbers, like, oh, Jalen, the Twin Tower stuff.
And again, that's not how those guys
Bullshit.
are going to play in the regular season.
Well, I tell you what,
Duran's not going to be playing like that.
Defensively, you'd like to see. I mean, I think that translates to summer league and NBA. Like, your effort is going to be there regardless. And like, no, not effort. I don't want to like discredit anybody's effort, but just like what I saw defensively. And you're right, Monty hasn't gotten his hands yet on these guys. Maybe that molds throughout the offseason, and maybe something molds throughout the season. But defensively, out of the bigs, I was kind of like.
And I agree with Jack. They're not going to run the Twin Tower. Yeah. I just hate even calling it that. I know. And
the Wiseman
post 2001 Twin Towers.
Like we saw.
Never forget.
Yeah, it's fucked up. But I was gonna say, never forget. We saw this out of Wiseman too. Back when he was in a Warriors jersey, he's dominated summer league.
Yeah, Wiseman should be your backup center.
Starting lineup.
Starting lineup.
Night one.
Cade, Ivy, Osor, Stu, Duran. Unless they make a trade for a 4.
Starting lineup before we go to break. Chris.
Same one. I agree with that. I think the only switch could be maybe Asar is not the 3.
Yeah.
Maybe start Joe Harris for a little bit of shooting, but I think Asar will start.
The stuff I'm looking forward to is Asar shooting.
I want to see more of his shooting.
And I'm not like, again, him and Ivy have to find a feel for each other regardless, but like I wanted him to get him because I want to see Asar shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like when he's like in open spots, give him the fucking ball so we see this. 0 for 2 last game, by the way.
You forgot Boyan. Boyan's not going to be on this team, guys. Like
that's the trade I think that
everybody Boyan question mark and Boyan when he's best is coming off the bench.
Big Boyan's where you guys can check out the strawberry traded. Something.
Where you want Boyan to start at 3 or you want Boyan to start at 4? Like nah, blood.
Nah, blood.
This shit ain't it. Boyan's not going to play for the team this year.
Is Joe Harris? Is it possibly he starts over?
Oscar? Joe Harris?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe at first, but Oscar's going to be your starting 3.
Man, I just can't wait to watch 2 again. Somebody told you some defensive highlights.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was like, yeah.
I forgot I got that. Yeah, we'll see what happens with 4, but
Cade working defensively, he comes off the bench, and then here comes Marcus Sasser after your ass.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll see what happens with the 4 spot, but all I know is they can't have those big boys out there together.
Big boy.
But if you want some big boy, all you got to do is drive around the block because they're everywhere. And Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. Try the classic breakfast items like some strawberry hotcakes or mouth-watering red velvet waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap or cool off with the refreshing summer spice salad. And don't forget to grab dessert, including the berry delicious classic strawberry pie, deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and more at Big Boy.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
What up, though? Welcome back to Woodward Have Wedge Live on WoodwardSports.com. I'm your boy Eazy. It's my guy, Spin More Racks.
What up, though?
Young Chris Broder.
What up, dude?
How you feeling, man? You've been quiet today.
Broder 22.
We had a lot of guests today. You haven't been able to speak too much.
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Just been, on the sound, making sure you guys sound good.
Who's your favorite guest?
I really like hearing from Jack Kelly.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of his work. I like his writing. And I don't know, you had Ryan Hana on the other day. He was great. They were all great.
Yeah.
I got to say, I love Kosko. I love hearing his explanation of why the Lions are behind the Bears. I didn't necessarily agree with it, but I like how he described where he was coming from with that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
What did he agree about it?
Let me get the song off first.
Are you good?
Wait, say it one more time?
What did he agree with?
Just the fact that regardless of who you bring into the mix, there's some time that's needed for the guys, especially in a secondary where you rely on knowing where your teammates are in that communication.
Yeah.
You have to learn to play together, and that was really his #1 downside. That's also why Aaron Glenn, I think, has the most on his plate going into the season. But
Good point.
I don't know. I love the guys that they brought in are veterans. They seem to fit perfectly with our younger guys, whether that's in a mentorship role or playing alongside, CJ, GJ, and Kirby Joseph. I love that mix. Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs. I love how that fits. Yeah. And on his list, Jerry Jacobs and Brian Branch weren't even in that top 5.
Yeah.
So that's just, I think of the depth to our secondary. Freaking awesome. And Tyree Stevenson, although I loved him out of Miami, he's on the Bears. He's in that top 5 Bears cornerback. I don't know how that... We got to see him play, too. I don't know if you can put them ahead of the Lions.
That's why I hate that I had a double book today, because that's another point I wanted to bring up to him, too, is the one, again, you guys already know, I hate the advanced analytics. Like, when you're judging everything off of, his PFF number was this, PFF number was that. PFF doesn't get the whole picture at times. And, I think you saw out of Kirby Joseph when I asked him about him being a superstar, okay, yeah, that's his grades, but the playmaking abilities that he had back there, that shit was phenomenal. You know what I'm saying?
He started off his first game was pretty bad.
Awful. It was against the Seattle, PFF. He didn't even get a coverage grade. That's how far off he was.
Yeah, he was too far away.
And you called it too. Yeah. The tight ends. What the fuck's his name?
My boy Will Dissly. Bro.
Will Dissly did him dirty.
Will Disley's a legend, man.
And that's the other part I wanted to bring up too is
always a good spot fantasy start.
I get that the guys are all new, yeah, but CJ DJ already been in an Aaron Glenn defense, Aaron Glenn philosophy. From the back end, I should say, he was a secondary coach in New Orleans, and then the other guys too, outside of Emmanuel Mosley and who's not even for sure. Cam Sutton's smart.
Yes,
that's the one thing you've heard about him, no matter where he's been in this league, is he's a smart player. Yeah. And then the other piece is Emmanuel Mosley.
Cam Hayward said he's the smartest guy on the field at all times.
Yeah. And then Cam Hayward has played with some fucking phenomenal defensive players.
And the Steelers asked him to do so many different things on that defense, playing zone, playing man. He played all over the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, DNC ENT just put it in the chat, and Booner sent it to me. Pat Fitzgerald, Northwestern head coach, got fired.
Yeah, what's going on with
that? In the wake of recent hazing allegations.
Well, yeah, what's...
I don't know. I didn't even hear anything about that.
You know the details on that one?
I don't know all the details, but there was an anonymous player that came out and talked about some of the hazing rituals that they would do that, they didn't say... I don't think the language was that Pat Fitzgerald knew exactly what he was doing, but that he was part of the reason that, the guys were deciding to haze the rookies. Going as far as the quarterback and the center, working on snaps naked, or things they do in the shower. There's a lot of weird shit that happened.
Oh. I was about to say I hazed the shit out of kids in high school, but nothing ever naked. I fought a kid naked one time, but that was just out of anger. It wasn't out of...
so it's okay now. We're good.
That's... Yeah, can't
give me that deuce!
DNC ENT says it's pretty bad. Sounds a little De La Salle.
Yeah, it does. I don't like speaking on those things until...
Booner says they were players getting dry humped and hosed and shit, and some racism stuff came out earlier today.
Oof. That's nasty.
Fucking just can't do that shit, man. I don't understand that shit. I understand hazing, but that's not hazing. That's just being... That's abuse.
I didn't know that was... Yeah.
There's a difference between hazing and abuse.
Yes.
Or initiation and hazing and abuse.
And with the modern day, you have the transfer portal, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah. All right, I'm out.
Yeah, all right, I'm good. Oh, y'all doing that? Yeah. All right. There's fucking 10 other schools that
MPWMU says
right
so much for due process. Well,
there's that
it must have been pretty damning evidence if he was fired. So,
nowadays though, this Jonah Hill shit. Did you see that over the weekend?
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Brother, that was wild.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any people actually after him. I think it's just more made headlines just because it's Jonah Hill. But he was with this girl 2 years ago, and he's like, if we're gonna further this relationship, I'd ask that you don't hang out with guys, don't post racy photos. She's a surfer or whatever too. So he's like, please don't surf with dudes and don't hang out with your slutty friends. Maybe am I missing? There's another one, but I think it was all open, reasonable ass fucking things.
And he wasn't yelling at her or anything.
Yeah, let's say, and he prefaced it if we want to advance with our relationship.
Exactly.
It was I'm done. You're anything aggressive.
Yeah.
He literally said these are my boundaries. This is where things are for me. If we want to take things to the next level, if not, no hard feelings. And everybody's look at him being controlling and manipulative. And I was just like, I think that's a little bit of a reach.
It's not even controlling. It's setting boundaries. It's not control.
Yeah.
It's like, this is where I draw a line.
Controlling and manipulative. He's not like, you can't do this. He's like, all right, if you're going to keep doing it, we're just not going to be together.
Yeah, it's a healthy communication.
Yeah.
You cannot be a man in today's society. It's fucking disgusting.
No. That's why I identify as whatever Chris is. But that'll do it for us today. We appreciate you all.
Easy take.
Tapping into the Woodward Heavyweight live on WoodwardSports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. Leave a 5-star review. For the man to my left, the one and only Speak Easy, Chris Platty in the TD booth, Broder on the ones and twos. I am Spencer Exter. Shout out to John Kosko, Ryan Hana, and Jack Kelly, all joining us, giving us good interviews. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.